Hello students, in last class we already discussed about what is electromagnetic induction, what is Faraday's law and what is Lenz's law. Then we already discussed how electric current is induced in a coil by changing the magnetic flux linked with it, different methods to produce induced EMF or induced current in a coil by changing the magnetic field strength with respect to time or by changing the area linked with the magnetic field with respect to time. Clear? And due to which what will be the value of induced EMF or what will be the value of induced current by such as motional EMF or something other by the induced EMF E equal to minus d phi by dt, the rate of change of magnetic flux. Clear? So today we are going to discuss about a new concept that is known as eddy current. So what is eddy current? So before going to study about eddy current, let's just remind one thing, that if there is a coil which is present here and it's connected with a galvanometer, okay, and when I am moving a bar magnet, the north pole and this is the south pole, towards the coil along its axis, the magnetic field lines which are emitted will pass through this, and when the bar magnet is moving towards the coil, gradually the strength of the magnetic field linked with this coil will increase due to the closeness between the magnet and the coil, and as the strength of the magnetic field linked with the coil increases, the flux which is known as magnetic flux phi is equal to B dot A. This is the area vector which remain constant, but the magnetic field strength as the bar magnet is moving towards the coil increases, and due to change in flux with respect to time, as the with respect to time the bar magnet is moving, an EMF is induced within the coil, due to which as the coil is a closed loop, a induced current starts to flowing through it, and which tries to what? Oppose the cause. That means the induced current which is flowing through it, it will flow along the loop in such a way that it tries to oppose the cause. That means cause is what? The cause is the motion of the north pole towards this direction according to Lenz's law. The current will flow in such a way that this side of the coil also behave as north pole, due to which the change in flux will get opposed. Clear? This happens when there is a coil placed in front of a moving bar magnet and an induced current starts flowing through the coil. Clear? This current I is known as induced current, which is produced due to the induced EMF. But what will happen if in place of a circular current, in place of a circular ring, metallic ring, I placed a metallic plate like this. If in place of a ring, metallic ring, I placed a metallic plate in front of a moving bar magnet. This is the north pole and this is the south pole. It's a metal plate. Okay, and as the bar magnet is move along this direction, the magnetic field lines linked with this metal plate starts increasing. So what will happen in this case? When there is a ring, due to motion of the bar magnet, it starts inducing current in such a way that according to Lenz's law it opposes the change in flux. But what will happen if there is a solid metal plate in front of a moving bar magnet whose north pole is moving towards the plate? So here in this case, as the north pole of the bar magnet is moving towards the metallic plate, the flux, the magnetic field lines linked with this metal surface gets changed with respect to time. So the magnetic flux linked with this metal surface changes with respect to time, and due to change in magnetic flux, as this is the metal surface, it also have some free electrons within it. So it is the tendency of this metal that it arrange the free electrons of this metal by itself in such a way that all the free electrons starts moving in such a way that they will produce a current which will oppose the cause of change in flux linked with it. Understood? When the bar magnet is moving towards the metallic plate, so the flux linked with this metallic plate changes with respect to time. As it's a metal, it also have some free electrons, so it is the property of this metal that it allow its free electrons to move in such a way, and we already know when electron starts to move, it constitutes a electric current. So the free electrons of this metallic plate starts to move or starts to drift in such a way that they constitute a current, and due to that current, we know when current flows through a metal, it produces a magnetic field, and due to that current, it generates a magnetic field, and that magnetic field tries to oppose the change in magnetic flux linked with it. And these current, as this is north pole moving along this direction, so all the free electrons reside in this metal surface starts to revolve in a circular path like this in different concentric rings in such a way that they produce a magnetic field. All these currents or free electrons of the metal surface starts revolving in such a way that they produce an electric field, and that electric field cause a magnetic field, they produce a electric current, and that electric current cause a magnetic field, and that magnetic field tries to oppose the cause of change in flux linked with this metallic plate. And these current which are generated within this metallic plate by itself in form of small concentric rings which are known as eddies. Clear? As these current produced by the metal surface by itself in form of eddies, these are known as eddy current. Okay, so what is eddy current? When the magnetic flux linked with the metal surface changes with respect to time, then all the free electrons of the metal starts to flow in such a way that they form a electric current by itself, and that electric current produces a magnetic field which tries to oppose the change in magnetic flux linked with the metal surface. This electric current forms in form of small eddies or concentric circular loops. That's why these are known as what? Eddy current. Clear? So eddy current in a metal surface generates to oppose the change in magnetic flux linked with that metal surface. As in case of a metallic ring, when a magnetic flux linked with the ring changes, it produces an inducing current if the loop is closed. But in case of metal surface, when the magnetic flux linked with it changes, the current generated within the metal surface by itself to create a magnetic field such that it opposes the change in flux linked with it. This current is known as what? Eddy current, as these are formed in terms of eddies. Clear? So eddy current did what? Eddy current tries to oppose the magnetic flux linked with the metal surface. Clear? This is known as what? Eddy current. Okay. So eddy current is what? It is the current induced in a metal surface which tries to oppose the change in magnetic flux linked with that metal. Clear? And experimentally we can also demonstrate this thing. That means if there is a coil which is wounded over a metallic cylinder, let this is a cylinder above which a coil is wounded. Okay. Okay. A coil, large number of tons of coil is wounded over a metal plate, and we placed a aluminum cap over this cylinder like this. Clear? It's an aluminum is a metal, this is a metal cap which is placed over this cylinder. So when we connect the coil with a circuit and close this key. Current starts to flow through this coil like this. Okay, so when current starts to flowing through this coil, as the current starts to flow through this coil, it produces a magnetic field. So as initially there is no current, there is no magnetic field, then when we close the key K, the current I starts to flowing through these coils. So as the current starts to flowing through this coil, there will be a magnetic field produced by this current carrying coil, and as the magnetic field produces, it creates some magnetic field of lines, and this field of lines linked with this metallic plate which is initially zero. The flux linked with this metallic plate is initially zero, but when the current starts to flowing through this coil, the magnetic field linked with this metallic plate increases, and due to magnetic field strength, the flux linked with this metallic plate increases, and due to which this metallic plate produces some eddy current which tries to oppose the change in flux, as if this end of the coil behave as a north pole, due to which the magnetic field lines linked with this cap are like this. So the lower surface of this metallic plate or metallic cap will also behave as a north pole due to the formation of eddy current within it, because it tries to oppose the change in flux. So as this metallic plate or the cap, lower surface of the metallic cap behave as a north pole to oppose the change in flux, there will be a repulsive force between these two north poles. As a result, this cap fly away. Clear? So when current starts to flowing through this coil, it produces magnetic field, and as magnetic field increases, the flux linked with this metallic cap increases. So it produces an eddy current to oppose the change in flux, and if the upper surface of the coil behave as a north pole, the lower surface of the metallic cap also behave as a north pole to oppose the change in flux. If this is behave as a south pole, the upper cap, the lower surface of the cap will also behave as a south pole, and as due to eddy current it is behave as a south pole or north pole according to this, there will be a force of repulsion, and due to repulsive force the cap fly away. This is the example of eddy current. Clear? Then eddy current have large number of applications in our day-to-day life. And it also have large number of disadvantages. Eddy current have large number of advantages as well as large number of disadvantages. So first of all, we are going to discuss what are the advantages or the application of eddy current. So what is application of eddy current? First one, it acts as, it creates damping. It produces damping effect. Okay, what is damping effect? Damping means to restrict the motion or slow down the motion. So when, for example, if there is a metallic ball, it's a metal ball which is hang through a string, and it's oscillating with certain time period t initially, but when we are placed this metallic pendulum within a magnetic field, there will be magnetic field lines like this. So when the metallic ball starts to oscillate within this magnetic field, the flux linked with the metallic ball changes, due to which the metallic ball produces an eddy current which tries to oppose this, and due to that eddy current, effect of eddy current, the time period of this metallic pendulum increases because it becomes slow down. Gradually it becomes slow down. This effect is known as damping effect. Clear? Initially, if the time period of the pendulum is 1 second, that means in 1 second it complete one cycle. But when this metallic pendulum is placed within an external magnetic field, so when it passes through the external magnetic field, the flux linked with the metallic bulb changes, and due to change in magnetic flux, it produces an eddy current within it, which tries to oppose the change in magnetic flux. That's why the time period of this metallic bulb changes to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, or more than 1 second. As the time period increases, the speed of the pendulum increases and gradually it becomes slow and finally it stops. This effect is known as damping effect, and due to this effect of eddy current, it is used in our dead bit type galvanometer. So we already studied about galvanometer. In galvanometer, we used it to measure sensitive or very small amount of electric current in a circuit, and we already know in a galvanometer there is a current carrying coil. It's a current carrying coil which is wrapped over a soft iron core, and above this coil there is a pointer which is calibrated with a scale, and when current flowing through it, this pointer starts to deflect, and as the pointer starts to deflect, it attracts this coil starts to rotate, and due to rotation of this coil, this pointer starts to rotate, and as the coil rotates, it is connected with a spring, hair spring, which produces restoring torque, and due to restoring torque, this coil starts to move towards its initial position, and then this pointer is also starts to move its initial position, and due to restoring torque, as this pointer deflects initially along this direction, and due to restoring torque, it starts to move its initial position. But as it has some velocity, due to its inertia, it again moves towards left. Clear? And again the spring creates restoring torque, again it moves towards its initial position, and again due to the inertia it moves towards right. Gradually it will start oscillating along this direction, left to right, then left to right. So we are not able to find out the particular point where the pointer will be static to get the perfect result of the electric current flowing through the circuit, because it starts oscillating like this, fluctuating like this. That's why the soft iron core is used, because when the current flowing through this metallic conductor, the magnetic field linked with this iron core changes, and due to change in magnetic flux, it produces eddy current, and eddy current always tries to oppose the cause, so it always tries to oppose the cause. That's why the damping effect, the effect of the eddy current, oppose the pointer to oscillate. Clear? This is what known as dead bit type galvanometer. That's why eddy current or damping effect of eddy current is used in dead bit type galvanometer to oppose the pointer from oscillation. Clear? So this is one type of application we used in our day-to-day life, that is dead bit type galvanometer is based upon the concept of a damping effect of eddy current. Clear? Next, so this is known as first application, that is dead bit type galvanometer. Is based upon the damping effect of eddy current. Clear? Next application, electromagnetic brakes. Okay, in electric trains. So in electric train or high speed vehicles, we used electromagnetic brakes. That means how electromagnetic brakes acts: if it is a metallic wheel of the train or rail which is rolling over the track like this, so there are two current carrying coils placed like this. If this is the metallic ring, this is rolling over the rail, there are two coils like this. okay, and within the gap the metallic ring of the ray is rotating, clear, constantly. So when we apply the brake, the current starts to flowing through this electromagnet which are, or these coils which are connected across or at the two ends of the disc within which the metallic wheel is rotating. So when we apply the brake, current starts to flow through these rings or these coils which will create a magnetic field, and due to this magnetic field, the magnetic field lines tries to pass through this metallic wheel which is rotating within this gap, and as the magnetic field try to pass through this metallic wheel, the magnetic flux linked with this wheel increases, due to which an eddy current starts to flowing through this metallic wheel which tries to oppose the change in flux. That's why the metallic ring starts decreasing its speed, clear, and the brakes works. This is the concept we used in electromagnetic brakes, in which the eddy current plays the role to decelerate the speed of the wheels with the rails, clear. This is how electromagnetic brakes are used in electric trains, clear. Next application of eddy current is, that is induction furnace. What is induction furnace? We know in plants we use blast furnace to melt a large number of metals, but if the metal have very large melting point, third application, induction furnace. So in plants or factories we used blast furnace to melt metals, but if the metal have high melting point, so we cannot able to melt it by using our traditional method, because the temperature that we can obtain by our traditional method is very low to melt such metals. That's why to melt that type of metal which have very high melting point or high temperature melting point, we used induction furnace. In induction furnace, what is happening? In a large container, we place the metal which we want to melt, okay. Then we place this container between two strong electromagnets, okay. This is the strong electromagnet which is attached to a highly oscillating voltage or alternating alternating source. That means these two terminals can be positive and negative alternatively. That's why as the current starts flowing through this coil, the electromagnet, there will be a magnetic field in this direction from north to south. Then after certain time interval, this end becomes negative and this end becomes positive. So the electric line field or the magnetic field which is initially due to the flow of current, if this end is act as north pole and this end acts as south pole, the magnetic field line starts move along this direction, and after certain interval the polarity of this alternating source changes and it will become north and it will become south. The magnetic field again starts to move along magnetic field along this direction. So when the magnetic field move along this direction, these metal elements, the flux linked with these metal elements changes, and due to change in magnetic flux it tries to produce eddy current within it, clear. And due to eddy current, the free electrons of these metals starts moving, and as the free electron starts to moving, they will collide with other atoms and ions within this metal, and due to collision the temperature of these atoms increases, and when the polarity of these terminals changes, the direction of eddy current gets changes again. Rapidly they change the direction of the free electrons. That's why the collision between the atoms and ions increases gradually, and repeatedly they collide with each other, and due to collision the temperature of this metal are increases by itself. and gradually if we continue this process for a large period of time, as we know the heat produced H equal to I square RT. So as the time period increases, the heat produced by within this metal due to eddy current will increase and they will melt by themselves. This effect or this furnace is known as what? Induction furnace, in which the metal starts to melt by their eddy currents produced within itself due to the magnetic flux linked with them changes. Clear? As the magnetic flux linked with the metals changes, they starts to produce eddy current, and when the polarity of these two electromagnetic poles changes, the direction of eddy current also changes because the direction of change in flux changes. So as the direction of eddy current changes frequently, the collision between free electrons and other atoms and ions increases, and due to increase in collision the temperature of these atoms increases, and gradually these metals starts melting themselves. And behind this, what is the cause? The cause is eddy current. That's why eddy current is also used in induction furnace to melt high melting or the metals having high melting points easily. Clear? So these are some applications of induction, application of eddy current in our day-to-day life. Or else we are also the eddy current have some disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? As we already studied that eddy current creates damping effect. So the damping effect of the eddy current is used in some cases where it is necessary for us, but in some other cases the damping effect produce some unnecessary loss of energy. That's why the damping effect of the eddy current is helpful to us, and also in some cases it is lost for us. Clear? Again, due to eddy current temperature increases. So as temperature increases, the electrical energy is lost in form of heat. So eddy current causes loss of energy. Clear? That's why as eddy current have some advantages, also it have some disadvantages. That's why eddy current is known as necessary evil. Okay, eddy current. What are the disadvantages? It produces loss in electrical energy, due to heat. Again, it produces unnecessary damping effect. Clear? So these are some disadvantages of what? Eddy current. As eddy current have some advantages and also have some disadvantages, that's why it is known as what? Necessary evil. Clear? So this is about eddy current, how eddy current is formed, what is eddy current, how eddy current is used in our day-to-day life to perform some helpful work, and how eddy current creates some loss in our day-to-day life. Clear? Next we are going to discuss about self-induction. What is self-induction? Okay, so now let's discuss a new concept of self-induction. So what is self-induction? We already know that when in a coil, it's a coil, if the magnetic field, north pole and south pole, the magnet starts moving along this direction, the magnetic field linked with this coil changes. Clear? Due to change in magnetic field, the flux linked with this coil changes and the coil starts to flowing a current, induced current within it. Clear? Here the cause of induced current is the change in magnetic flux linked with this coil. Okay. So what will happen if there is a coil of a large number of turns like this? Okay, it's a coil. All this was known as an inductor. Generally it is looks like a solenoid. So a solenoid is basically known as an inductor. Okay, so if here it is a inductor of length L and having a large number of turns, it is connected with a source V, due to which a current I starts flowing through it. Clear? So when current I starts flowing through this inductor or the large number of turns, so the current attached to each turn changes. Initially there is no current linked with any turn of this inductor, but when it is connected with a source, the current starts to flowing through this each turn of this inductor. So as the current starts to flowing through this each turn of the inductor, all the turns of this inductor act as a current carrying coil, and due to the effect of current carrying coil, they produce a magnetic field. Clear? Initially there is no current flowing through this inductor, so there is no magnetic field, but when the coil or inductor is connected with a source V, a current I starts flowing through this inductor, and all the coils are acting as a current carrying coil or inductor. Each turn of the inductor acts as a current carrying coil, due to which they produce a magnetic field. And as there is a magnetic field, it will have some magnetic field of lines which is let be along this direction, like this. Clear? So magnetic field lines linked with the each turn of the inductor changes. That means the flux linked with each turn of the inductor changes, and when flux linked with the current carrying coil changes, according to Lenz's law and Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, it induces an EMF within it, and which tries to oppose the change in flux. Clear? Similarly, in this case, when the current flows along each turn of this inductor, each turn will produce a magnetic field, and due to that magnetic field, the flux linked with each turn changes, and due to change in magnetic flux linked with each turn, they try to produce an induced EMF in such a way that the induced EMF will oppose the change in flux. And what is the cause of change in flux? The cause of change in flux is the current flowing through the inductor. That means this effect, due to which an EMF is induced within the coil by itself, which will try to oppose the change in current through the coil, is known as what? Self-induction. Due to self, it induces an EMF. That's why this effect is known as what? Or property of a coil is known as self-induction, because by itself it induces an EMF, due to which it tries to oppose the change in current. Because in this inductor, the change in flux is due to the change in current, so cause of change in flux is change in current, and according to Lenz's law, the induced EMF tries to oppose the cause. So the induced EMF within this coil try to oppose the change in current flowing through it, and that phenomena of the inductor, due to which it itself try to oppose the change in current within it, is known as what? Self-induction. So self-induction is the property of an inductor, due to which it always tries to oppose the change in current flowing through it. Clear? So what is self-induction? We can write self-induction is the property of an inductor, due to which it opposes, due to which it induces an EMF within it to oppose the change in current flowing through it. Clear? So self-induction is the property of an inductor due to which it induces an EMF within it to oppose the change in current flowing through it. Clear? So when a current tries to flow through this inductor, that means there will be initially zero current, then current tries to flow, that means the current changes from 0 to I. So it will induce an EMF within it by itself to oppose the change in current. This phenomena or property of a inductor is known as what? Self-induction, because by itself it tries to oppose the change in current by inducing an EMF, which is known as self-induction. Clear? Okay. So next we will study coefficient of self-induction. Or simply self-inductance, denoted by capital L. So what is coefficient of self-induction or self-inductance? We already studied right now that self-induction is the property of an inductor due to which it tries to oppose any change in current flowing through it. Because we know when in an inductor, if a current I is flowing through it, it will generate a magnetic field, and due to the magnetic field, the magnetic flux linked with each turn of the inductor will change. So when the value of I will be more, the strength of the magnetic field produced by each turn will be more, and as the strength of magnetic field will more, the flux linked with each turn will be more, because phi is depending upon B into A. Area of each turn is constant. As B increases, the flux increases, and B will depend upon I. As I increases, B increases. As B increases, phi increases. Clear? So when the amount of current flowing through the inductor will increase, it will increase the strength of magnetic field produced by each turn of the inductor. And as the strength of the magnetic field will increase, the flux linked with each turn is also increased. That means the magnetic flux linked with an inductor is indirectly related with the current flowing through the coil or inductor. How? Directly proportional. These two are directly proportional to each other, because I increase, if I increase, I will cause to increase the magnetic field strength, and the magnetic field strength will cause to increase the flux. That means phi increases when electric current flowing through the inductor increases. That's why we can write the magnetic flux linked with the inductor is directly proportional to current flowing through it, because if high amount of current flowing through it, the magnetic flux linked with the inductor will be more. Clear? This can be simply written as the when phi m is equal to some constant L into I, where L is proportionality constant and is known as self-inductance. Clear? So the magnetic flux is phi is directly proportional to current flowing through the inductor. That's why phi is equal to some constant L into I, and here L is the proportionality constant, which is known as self-inductance or coefficient of self-induction. That's why we can write the coefficient of self-induction is equal to phi m divided by I. Clear? Okay. So what is coefficient of self-induction or self-inductance? The coefficient of self-induction or self-inductance is defined as the magnetic flux linked with an inductor when unit current passes through it. Clear? When we allow an unit current to pass through the inductor, at that moment what is the value of magnetic flux linked with the inductor will be equal to what? The self-inductance of the given inductor. Clear? Here L is equal to phi m by I, but L is not depending upon the flux and current flowing through it. It is only depends upon what? The dimension and geometry of the inductor. Clear? The material of which the inductor is made up, what is its dimension and what is the geometry of this inductor, on that the self inductance of the inductor will depend. It does not depend upon the flux linked to the inductor or current flowing through the inductor, because this is a constant and that's why it is independent of these two, like resistance in case of electrostatic and capacitance as C equal to Q by V. But capacitance of a capacitor does not depend upon charge and potential. Similarly, as I equal to V by R, current flowing through a conductor is V by R, so V equal to IR. So here R, resistance, is not depending upon V and I. Clear? So as here C is not depending upon Q and V and R, resistance is not depending upon V and I. Similarly, the self inductance of an inductor is not depending upon the flux and current linked with it. It's depend upon its geometry. Clear? So as we already discussed here, that magnetic flux linked with the inductor is in self inductance of the inductor into current flowing through it. From this we will get the self inductance L equal to magnetic flux by current. So according to this we can write the definition of the self inductance. What? The self inductance of an inductor is defined as the magnetic flux linked with the inductor when unit current allowed to flow through it. So self inductance of an inductor is defined as the amount of magnetic flux linked with the inductor when unit current flows through it. Clear? Okay, as I becomes 1, phi m equal to I. Clear? Again, if this is equation 1 and this is 2, again from equation 1 we get phi m equal to L into I by differentiating both sides with respect to time. We get what? D phi m by dt equal to d by dt of L into I. This implies d phi m by dt will be equal to L constant into di by dt. What is d phi by dt? D phi by dt is the induced EMF. Okay, so d phi by dt equal to negative of d phi by dt equal to induced EMF. So here d phi by dt equal to minus E. We can write according to Faraday law the induced EMF E equal to minus d phi by dt. So this implies d phi by dt will be equal to negative of the induced EMF. So from this we can write minus E equal to L into di by dt. So this implies self inductance L equal to E divided by minus di by dt, can be written like this. Clear? That means the self inductance of an inductor is defined as the induced EMF produced within the inductor per unit change rate of electric current. And here the change rate will be negative. That means the rate of change of electric current is decreasing. That means we can say that the the self-inductance of an inductor is defined as the induced EMF produced within it per unit rate of decrease in electric current. Clear? So we can write, so here we can write that the self-inductance of an inductor is also defined as, from this relation, the self-inductance of an inductor is defined as the amount of induced EMF produced due to unit rate of decrease in current. Okay, so when the rate of decrease in electric current is unit, at that time what is the amount of induced EMF produced within that inductor will be equivalent to what? The self inductance of that inductor. Clear? So what will be the unit of self inductance? L have unit in SI Henry, or in CGS we can write it as Stat Henry or Av Henry, or in electromagnet is known as Av Henry. And what is the dimension? As we know, L equal to, from this phi by I, what is phi? B into A by I, what is B? B equal to the magnetic force per pole strength into area divided by current I. What is force? Force of dimension formula M1 L1 T minus 2 divided by ampere meter into meter square, that is the dimension of area, into ampere. So it will become how much? M1, it will be L2 T minus 2, and again it will be A ampere square, A minus 2. So this is the dimensional formula of what? Self inductance, that is M1 L2 T minus 2 A minus 2, and this is the unit of self inductance, that is Henry, and in CGS it is Av Henry. Clear? So this is all about self inductance of an inductor and what is self induction. So how we can show the self induction experimentally, that a inductor opposes the flow of change in current. So experimentally we can also show the self induction of a coil. So just see here, we are attaching a bulb B1 through a resistor and another bulb B2 through a inductor. Both are connected in parallel to a external source V. When the key here is closed, current I starts to flow through this circuit, and as immediately the key closed, as the current here I starts to flow, here I1 and I2, this current I is splitted and here current flows like this. As soon as the key is closed, the bulb B1 starts glow immediately, because the current I1 starts flow through this circuit or this branch of this circuit immediately. But when the current I2 starts to flow through this inductor, due to the effect of self-induction, this inductor tries to oppose the change in current flowing through it. That's why the current can't flow through this inductor easily, and it have to do some work to flow through this inductor. So the flow of current I2 through this inductor becomes slow in comparison to the flow of current I1 through the resistor. So the bulb B2 glow late. Clear? When we close this circuit, current I flows through this circuit, and due to which I1 flowing through this branch and I2 flow through this branch, and as soon as the key is closed, the current bulb B1 glows immediately because I1 passed through this resistor immediately. But when I2 starts to pass through this inductor, due to self induction, it gets some opposition by the inductor. That's why the flow of this current I2 through this inductor becomes slow. So this bulb B2 glows late. Similarly, when the key is open, the circuit breaks, the current flowing through this circuit becomes 0. So the current I1 flowing through this resistor R1 becomes 0 immediately. So the bulb B1 stops glowing immediately. But when the current I2 flowing through this inductor stops, due to self induction, it tries to oppose the change. Here the change is stopping of the current I2. That's why they oppose the current I2 to get stops. That's why the bulb B2 stops glowing slowly. This is the effect of self induction, which we can demonstrate experimentally by this. Clear? The bulb B1 glows slowly due to self induction, and also when the current starts to decreases from this branch, it opposes again, and due to which the bulb B2 stops glowing slowly. This is because of the effect of self induction of this inductor. Clear? So this is what we studied: self induction, what is self inductance, the unit of self inductance, and how we can experimentally demonstrate the effect of self induction. Clear? Next class we discuss further. Okay, thank you.